You can run ads, do cold outreach, social media, and still lose your leads. The reason is that most B2B websites don't answer the questions users actually have, and that's exactly why your website has to do one thing: answer every key question your visitor has before they leave. So let's break down what those questions are. The first question a user asks when they land on a website: what is this? This point seems obvious, but no, it doesn't. Most SMB websites don't provide any clarity about themselves at all. They immediately jump into their own language or any other information that is not important to someone who doesn't even know your product. Sometimes I spend 3 minutes scrolling through a website and its pages trying to understand what you actually do. Cold visitors do not do that. They leave within the first seconds. Does this solve my problem? The next important question the user asks. Explaining the product is important, but it's also important to show its value to your target audience. If you are simply explaining the product, that's already great, but it is important to present it not through the lens of what it is and how it works, but what it is and what value it brings to the visitor. This approach helps the user not only understand their problem and guide them toward your solution, but also provides urgency. The user is less likely to postpone you until later, because they are losing something right now. What results do I get? After highlighting the problem, a website has to explain how the product solves it. This point works very well with the previous one, moving the user from the problem to the solution. Many websites already use this method of guiding the user, and it shows good results. Why should I believe you? If the user is already asking this question, cool, they understand the product and are already interested. In B2C, a person may already be ready to buy at this stage, but a B2B buyer thinks more selectively. How does it work? A point many founders love, especially technical ones, because this is where you talk about the product, but many of them still do it incorrectly. You should explain how it works for a non-technical person. They don't know your technologies and don't care about them. Leave those for a more technical audience. For example, in the How It Works section, provide a link to a more detailed explanation of how the product works. How easy is it, and is it right for me? A B2B buyer already has their own system within the company, therefore they want it not to take up the time and effort of their business, and to integrate easily into their existing system. Can I trust you? It's important not to confuse with why should I believe you. When answering why should I believe you, the discussion is about the proven results. This includes client logos, successful cases, numbers, and client outcomes. When answering can I trust you, the question is about the risk of working with your company. In other words, even if the product is good, can I do business with you? Who is behind the company, your team, process transparency, experience, certifications? So the question is no longer whether the product works, but whether working with you specifically will be a headache. How do I get started? Congrats, your user is ready to move to the next stage. It would be a shame to lose them here. At this stage, users are often lost because of an unclear call to action. The person understood the product, saw the value, became convinced of the company's reliability, but still don't understand what to do next. For example, the user is ready to move forward, but instead of a clear book a demo or get a consultation, they see several buttons, links, and action options. As a result, we end up with a list of questions that B2B users typically have. Of course, every case is different, depending on factors such as sales funnel. However, if the website doesn't answer one or more of these questions, just try. You may find a bottleneck here.